Well, if you want to create a classic landscape, you come to the Classic Landscape Pros, Linton's Enchanted Gardens, and Mark Linton is here with us. Mark, this is a classic neighborhood. It has a lot of rich heritage to it here in beautiful South Bend, Indiana. And you really had to be careful, didn't you, in your renovation here today with a house that had been around for, what, 50, 60 years, and to make it fit into the neighborhood that has a lot of classic beauty around it.
And that was one of the most important things that Mike and Erica shared with me, along with creating a low maintenance landscape, because this is not their permanent residence. This is kind of their vacation home.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's very close to a golf course too, isn't it?
That was the main draw here.
Yeah, Mike had kind of some fun with that in the early going with his wife Erica, talking about their golf house. She got all excited thinking they were going to go down and live on the Gulf Coast, but a different kind of golf.
I know, but beautiful South Bend, Indiana here on the Morris Park golf course.
Yes, well, it is a classic neighborhood, no question about that. And why don't we start about talking about the hemlock over here, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Craig, we're working with a lot of old-fashioned favorites here just because of the time period of the house. And we're anchoring the corner with this beautiful hemlock tree, something that can easily be kept pruned to stay below the eaves, the overhang there. And nice thing about that is it's the bones of the landscape and provides that beautiful green 12 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm. And flanked beautifully by a couple of choices here, actually 3 or 4.
Yes, so Erica wanted to have pops of color, and so we've got these Moonbeam Coreopsis, which she presently has at her home that we landscaped over 10 years ago. Had really liked the nonstop beauty that they perform, and it's a perennial that comes back year after year.
Mm-hmm. You're not hiding any, well, pumps or anything over there, are you?
No, those are the real thing. There's quite a bit of weight there with those large boulders.
No,
just using them as some accent, and I like how they blend and actually somewhat contrast with this Wash River gravel ground cover.
They sure do. Now you've chosen here a very interesting selection because it is a classic look, right?
Yes, this is our dense yew hedge, and homes that were built in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. At that time, you saw a lot of hedges, and we wanted to keep things in kind of in the time period of the house here.
Kind of reminds me of growing up in the 60s a little bit, doesn't it?
Me too.
Yeah. Now you did a lot here to encourage the homeowner to really adapt the color, and boy, coming here the first time, this looked totally different, didn't it?
It did. It was a beautiful stone house, but unfortunately the color of the stone was no one's favorite color, and so they asked me to provide them with some color options, and I came up with 3 color combinations and really let them make the final selection, and I love what they chose here.
Yeah.
I think it works out really well, and from the street it ties in with the asphalt shingle roof quite nicely.
And those copper downspouts, man, I'll tell you what, that really makes it look awesome.
You know, you don't see that very often, and
No.
yes, the house came with the copper gutters and downspouts, and they just did a little bit of updating and some repairs.
What do we have here?
Well, this is a unique shrub here, and it's selected to accent the corner here. This is called a fine line buckthorn, and provides beauty in the springtime with little bell-shaped flowers, and then turns bright gold in the fall. It accents the corner and gives us some height.
Mm-hmm. Well, you worked on the pavement here a little bit too, didn't you, Mark?
Thanks for noticing. Craig, what we've got here is a replacement sidewalk. The old sidewalk was way too close to the house. It was too narrow, and it was a stone material that was starting to settle, and it was not safe. And so what we did was actually remove that stone. We repurposed it in the backyard to expand a patio, and then in timekeeping with the house, we wanted kind of the aged look of concrete, and so suggested this exposed stone aggregate, which goes beautifully with the colors that we selected here.
Looks like it's been here maybe for 5 or 10 years, doesn't it?
That was the goal and the plan.
That is very cool. How about here?
This is one of our fan burning bushes. We had kind of a bare canvas behind here.
Yeah.
This is something that our nursery staff trains to grow in this fan or espalier shape. Provides a nice color in the fall when it turns bright red.
I like that.
We also have some coral bells here for a little splash of color. Love these purple burgundy colored leaves. You can see the veining in there.
Sure can.
Later on in the summertime, going to have spikes of flowers which attract hummingbirds as well as butterflies.
And this area here?
Well, it's not just black mulch like what you see now, but the plan is for
yeah, there's a plan.
Mike and Erica to be able to plant some annual flowers here. And so this fall, they'll put in some splashes of fall mums, and then the following spring, we'll have some annuals in here as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. What else, Mark?
We've got a beautiful Japanese maple here to anchor this corner. I love these burgundy colored leaves up against
Yes.
the gray brick. And then what we did, Craig, was on the opposite corner, we went with our Bloodgood Japanese maple, which also has a similar colored leaf, but it grows much differently. We're giving this plenty of room to grow. This will be a nice specimen tree to anchor this corner. And then we've got our little dwarf gold thread cypress to provide some color during the fall, winter, and early spring.
I like what you've done. And this is a key corner, too, for the property,
It
isn't it?
is very visible because it's a quarter lot.
Yeah, very good. Well, you know, we had so much fun talking earlier with Erica, and really didn't get to meet Mike, but learned a little bit about Mike through this story that Erica is going to tell in detail about her golf house, which I think is hilarious. But again, she'll touch on it, but you did have a connection that went back about a decade ago with this couple.
That's right. We did landscape work at their primary residence, which is in Bremen, and this is a nice little getaway house for them.
And not so unusual, is it, to be back at it again with something that maybe you helped someone with 10 or 15 or even 20 or 30 years ago?
It's been a great relationship.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Erica is the homeowner. And Erica, along with her husband Mike, have a lot to be thankful for, and let's catch up now with Erica to find out more. Erica joins us now. Erica, good to see you. You have a beautiful home here, and Linton's has done a great job to make it even more beautiful. What one or two things did you really like that Linton's did here, Erica?
I love the back patio. It's stone and it has a fire pit, and it's just perfect.
Nothing like a fire pit on a great summer night, huh?
Right, right.
Now, this is your golf house, so tell us about that story. Not exactly the kind of golf house that you were thinking when you moved here for the first time with your husband, Mike.
Right, right. I was hoping for a golf house as in G-U-L-F, but instead we got the golf house, and it's beautiful. It's turned out wonderful, and someday I'll be on the water, I hope.
Yeah, well, this is not a bad place to be here in South Bend. Beautiful golf course right adjacent to your property. Lots of things going on here in beautiful South Bend. Now, the history that you have with Linton's actually goes back a few years, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. They helped us out about 10 years ago with our backyard pool, and it just turned out phenomenal.
Excellent. Well, you know, Mark has a lot of people who come back time and time again, generation after generation even. And in fact, speaking of Mark, I think he's got a little surprise here for you. How about that, Erica?
Wow. Thank you.
Well, just want to thank both you and your husband Mike for the opportunity to work for you again. We're honored that you gave us this opportunity to beautify your home.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, if you can't have your real golf house, Erica, at least you can have a beautiful arrangement there, huh?
Absolutely.
So you'd have Mark come back again, would you?
Oh, yes, I would. I would.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good. Well, keep up the good work here. Enjoy the rest of the summer in your beautiful home, and
Oh, we will.
thanks for being a part of our show today.
Well, thank you.
We've got much more coming up on the program. Don't go away. We will be right back.